Welcome to the Utility Security Podcast, your command center for all things utility security. From power plant warriors to grid guardians, and even curious citizens, this podcast is your essential briefing on keeping up to date with knowledge and insights for securing our nation's utilities. Expert intel through interviews with security chiefs, tech wizards, and policy shapers. Tune in as we explore the latest vulnerabilities, industry best practices, and inspiring stories of resilience from the frontline heroes keeping our grids secure.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Okay, let's set a scene. It's 2 a.m. Christmas morning, pitch black, and your security team, they're staring at a screen. The physical protection system, the PPS, it just confirmed an intrusion. You can see it on the video feed. 2 people, bolt cutters, backpacks, attacking the fence at a big power substation.
Right, and the first instinct, the knee-jerk reaction, it's often just tell the SOC operator, call 911.
Seems logical enough in the moment.
It does, but honestly, that's...
It's a massive failure in preparation. Police response, especially when we're talking critical infrastructure, maybe even lives. It's not just automatic. Not at all. Your local law enforcement, the LEA, they need context, they need specifics, logistics, and they need it before that emergency call ever happens. Okay, so that's the core idea we're digging into today, based on some really insightful analysis from utility security experts. We're moving past just general advice. Our mission here is to unpack those specific, maybe non-obvious steps utilities have to take with police, all aimed at securing that critical infrastructure and, keeping the community safe. It starts by making sure the police understand the stakes.
Exactly, because think about it from the dispatcher's view. An intrusion alarm, it might just sound like another suspicious activity call. Unless utility leadership has clearly explained why this specific site is so important, why it needs a priority response.
You can't just say it's critical infrastructure and expect them to get it.
No, absolutely not. You have to quantify it. You have to paint the picture of potential disaster.
So what does that look like? What kind of impact are we talking about if a key substation goes down?
Well, think about the immediate community fallout. Local hospitals, they could lose their primary power. Traffic lights go out. Chaos. Thousands of homes could lose power. And imagine that during, say, a major heat wave or an ice storm.
Right. The context matters hugely. It's not just inconvenience. It could be a genuine public safety crisis.
And that severity helps define the threat profile the police need to be ready for. They're used to dealing with, simple trespassing, maybe some copper theft. That happens.
Pretty common, unfortunately.
Very common. But the utility has to push them to prepare for worse. Deliberate sabotage, even coordinated attacks using firearms. We've seen that happen.
So this means sharing actual intelligence, doesn't it? Like recent local incidents.
Absolutely. If there have been, say, 5 copper thefts nearby in the last month, the LEA leadership needs to know that. It shows the threat isn't just theoretical. It's active right now.
Okay, makes sense. And that leads to prioritizing, I guess. Not all substations are equally critical.
Precisely. Utilities know exactly which sites are most vital. Maybe they support essential services, or losing them would cause cascading failures, what they call high N1 risk, that internal ranking. That needs to be shared with the police. It should ideally be flagged right in their dispatch systems, their CAD systems.
So the dispatcher knows instantly if it's a minor site or a major linchpin for the whole area.
Exactly. And then you need to define the triggers for a really high-level response. Lights and sirens, immediate action.
What kind of triggers are we talking about?
Things that have to be decided beforehand. Like if the Security Operations Center, the SOC, reports confirmed gunfire on video or an explosion. Or, and this is really crucial, if they see multiple intrusions happening at different sites around the same time.
Suggesting a coordinated attack.
Yes. That absolutely cannot be treated like a single trespassing call. It needs a massive, probably multi-agency response immediately.
Okay, the why is crystal clear now. This isn't just about protecting equipment. It's about preventing potentially huge community harm. So let's shift gears. Let's get down to the ground level, the logistics. How do you actually execute this coordination? This moves us into the tactical details, the tech links, beyond just saying it's important.
Right. This is where the utility needs to put together, like a detailed briefing package for their LEA meetings. And forget just giving them a general address. That's not enough.
What do they need then?
Detailed maps. Satellite imagery showing the absolute best roads for police cars to get in. Every gate system detailed. Who has the keys? What are the access codes needed just to get onto the property? An officer shouldn't be stuck outside figuring that out.
No time for that. And I saw something interesting in the sources about precision mapping tech, asking about, what, 3 words? Can you explain that?
Yeah, it's a really clever system. Basically, it divides the entire world into 3-meter squares and gives each square a unique 3-word address, like table.chair.spoon, for example. So instead of fumbling with long GPS coordinates or vague descriptions like the north fence line near the big tree,
Which is useless in an emergency.
totally useless, especially for remote sites with no street address. You just give them the 3 words for the exact access gate or the rendezvous point. It's incredibly precise.
And it's not some niche thing, is it? The adoption rate seems pretty high.
It's surprisingly widespread. That statistic you mentioned, March 2025, over 4,800 emergency call centers in the U.S. and Canada using it through partners like Rapid SOS. So if your local LEA uses it, providing that data, that's a huge shortcut to clear communication. Big time saver.
Instant upgrade. Okay, so location is nailed down. What else goes in that briefing binder?
You need to walk them through your Security Operations Center, the SOC. What kind of alarms are you using? Motion sensors, infrared beams, maybe sophisticated gunshot detection systems. And crucially, what's the process your SOC operator follows to verify an alarm before they call 911?
Right, so police aren't rolling out for a deer setting off a sensor.
Exactly. They need confidence it's a real event.
Okay, that leads to maybe the trickiest technical bit, real-time video feeds. Can utilities actually give police live camera access? Isn't that a huge security headache?
It is a challenge, yeah. Liability, data security, it's complex. But it's something that has to be worked out in planning. Experts often recommend setting up a secure, maybe view-only web portal or a dedicated feed. Limited access only for verified dispatch or supervisors during an active incident.
It's not just open access anytime.
Definitely not. The goal isn't constant surveillance. It's giving responders eyes inside the perimeter during the event, seeing exactly where intruders are. It's invaluable situational awareness.
Invaluable context, for sure. But okay, the police get there, they have the intel, maybe even eyes on the suspects via camera, but then they hit a wall, the substation is energized.
Yes. The de-energization dilemma. It's critical. Most police departments, quite rightly, will not let their officers enter a live high-voltage substation. It's incredibly dangerous for anyone not trained.
A death trap, essentially.
Pretty much. So the utility must have a rock-solid internal procedure for de-energizing that site, or at least the affected part of it, so police can go in safely.
And that procedure needs to be clear. Like, who makes that call at 3 a.m. on Christmas?
Absolutely crystal clear. Who has the authority? A specific system operator, maybe. How is that decision documented? And how do you contact that person instantly? If you can't get that authorization fast, the police are just going to wait outside.
Watching the crime happen.
Exactly. Waiting for a utility crew to arrive, which could take an hour, maybe more. That delay, that's when the real damage happens.
So the best way to smooth all this out is actually practicing it, like joint walkthroughs.
Mandatory joint scenario walkthroughs during those planning meetings. Absolutely. Test the communication. Test the de-energization process. Find the gaps before it's real.
It's the only way to see what breaks under pressure.
It really is. Okay, so now let's bring it all together. All this prep work fundamentally impacts the immediate response, specifically response time.
Right. And getting that expected response time from the police seems like a critical piece of data for the utility itself. Why is that number so important? It actually affects engineering.
Because that number, the time it takes police to arrive after a priority call, directly dictates how strong your physical security needs to be. It's the foundation. If the police tell you, look, for this remote site, realistically, our priority response is 12 minutes.
Then your fences, your gates, your locks, everything needs to be able to resist intruders for at least 12 minutes.
Precisely. That's the delay rating you need to engineer for. If your fence can only delay someone for, say, 7 minutes, but the police take 12 minutes to get there.
You've built in a 5-minute window for failure. Guaranteed damage.
You got it. The response time drives the physical hardening requirements. Longer response time means you need tougher barriers, maybe more layers, more sophisticated detection. Shorter time, maybe less extreme measures are needed. It's a direct trade-off.
An economic and engineering decision based purely on police logistics. Fascinating. But even the best system, the toughest fence, it doesn't matter if the initial 911 call goes wrong, does it? If the SOC operator messes it up.
That's the human element. And the biggest mistake, underselling the event, using vague language. What do you mean?
If the operator just says, yeah, we got 2 guys cutting a fence at 123 Main Street Substation, the dispatcher might log that as simple trespassing or property damage. Low priority.
And the response time plummets. They deal with more urgent calls first.
Exactly. Domestic violence call comes in. Active car crash. That trespassing call gets pushed way down the list. And those minutes are critical.
So the fix is scripting, telling the operator exactly what to say.
Explicit scripting. Developed with the police during those planning meetings. You need to agree on trigger phrases that guarantee a high-priority dispatch.
Like what? Give me an example.
Mandatory language like, this is an active intrusion at a high-voltage transmission substation. There is imminent risk of major power grid failure affecting mentioned critical facility, for example, General Hospital. Or, security reports confirmed audio consistent with small arms fire during an intrusion at a critical substation. Specifics that activate those pre-agreed priority protocols.
No room for error or interpretation in the heat of the moment.
None. It has to be automatic. This level of detailed prep, it sounds like a lot, but the payoff can be huge. You mentioned a case study from the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, it was a great example. A security workshop had a local utility, PUD police, emergency management, all working together. They were doing a drill for a specific substation. The initial estimate from dispatch for response time to that site, 12 minutes, just their standard guess.
Okay, 12 minutes baseline. And what happened after they applied all this coordination we've been talking about?
Total game changer. They did everything. Preloaded exact GPS and access routes into the 911 CAD system, confirmed the specific alert language, the scripts, identified staging areas, streamlined the callback procedures.
So they basically eliminated all the potential communication friction and delays.
Exactly. And the result? That estimated 12-minute response time dropped to just 5 minutes for the exercise.
Wow, 7 minutes shaved off. Just through planning and communication.
7 minutes, not by adding more officers, not by breaking speed limits, just by being prepared. And think what 7 minutes means in an attack scenario.
It's the difference between potentially stopping them at the fence and, well, widespread blackouts. Catastrophe. That 7 minutes is also time your physical security system doesn't have to handle alone anymore.
That's the key synergy.
So wrapping this up, the core lesson really seems clear. Effective security, especially for critical infrastructure, it doesn't start with the alarm. It starts way, way before. It's all about that detailed preparation, that open communication, that pre-coordination. It starts with a meeting, not with a panicked 911 call.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. Good outcomes follow good planning.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you, our listener.
Right. So as we've established that the police response time is a fundamental input dictating how robust your substation's physical security needs to be, ask yourself this. How confident are you that your current level of coordination, your detailed communication protocols with local law enforcement, truly reflects the actual community-wide risk tied to that specific piece of critical infrastructure? Is the plan keeping pace with the risk? It demands ongoing work, constant review, because the threats are always evolving and your preparation has to evolve too.
Don't forget to visit our website at utilitysecurity.com for exclusive intel, resources, and a community of fellow utility security professionals. Stay safe, stay informed, and stay tuned for your next mission briefing.
The views, information, and opinions expressed during this podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of Utility Business Media and its employees. It is strongly recommended that you discuss any actions or policy changes with your company management prior to implementing